Salam, shalom, everyone. But I'm apologize too late because we have some technical issues. I'm very sorry, and my thousand apologize. Before we began, I would like to give a brief introduction of both our guests and our universities. First of all, I'm thank you for thank you for your accept our invitation, Mr. Tal, and I give a brief information about Mr. Tal. Mr. Tal is prominent figure in the global innovation ecosystem, founder of 14 startup accelerators since 2011 in both Israel and abroad, has rendered him a guru on building accelerators, hubs, and startup ecosystem. He serves as an advisory board member in various companies and technology startups, mainly cybersecurity, IT, tech, retail, drones, home and land security, and others. His activity involved hundreds of startups, accelerators, incubators, innovation hubs, tech parks, and other major players in entrepreneurial ecosystem stretched from Israel to Eastern Europe and Asia. Mr. Tal also is a busy keynote speaker and TEDx speaker and on tech startups, innovation, and entrepreneurship, sharing his professional toolbox to mentor, motivate, and inspire entrepreneurs around the globe. And Mr. Tal is dear friend Azerbaijan startup and business ecosystem, frequently visiting and participating in many of major startup events in the country as a keynote speaker and moderator, as well as mentoring the young entrepreneurs I2B and GAA. Welcome, Mr. Tal.
Hi, salam, hello. Elchin, thank you for this introduction, and thank you for hosting me on this webinar with Baku Engineering University, and you as heading the innovation hub inside the university, which I think is something very important and very unique, I think also on a global scale. So I will speak today with my friends, which I want to also apologize for the bit technical problems that we're having, but I hope you're there with us. And I would like to share with you a bit about Corona, which is all over us, and maybe also give you some tips about how should we handle the current situation. And I think more important even is to look towards what we call the day after, just to see how things will be after Corona, and have no doubt we will reach that point. So coronavirus, of course, caught us all by surprise. It was not something that humanity globally have encountered before, and this is why we were not ready. It's very different than other events that happened not too long ago in 2000 and 2008, but then we knew how to handle it. We had clear rules, the format was clear, the framework was clear. With Corona, nothing is clear. We really don't know what we need to do, and everything is in a way based on trial and error. We see that countries in a way look at one another, maybe trying to copy to understand what to do with it. So for a period of time, probably, we will still be in this situation. My first advice, of course, will be to listen to your government instructions, as well as, of course, health ministry and municipality. Have confidence that your management knows what to do, and you need to be very attentive. I think one of the first rules that were implemented here in Israel, and we have listened to it very strictly, is to keep social distance and stay at home and follow the instructions of government with mask and alcohol gel and everything else. I think this really helped, and avoid the contact with the elderly population, which is very important. It is very difficult. It is very difficult, but if a nation wants to pull out of this situation, and of course globally we all want, we need to follow it. But this crisis also taught us something that maybe some of us knew before, is that the health system worldwide is not in a good situation and needs more support. Still, I think health systems throughout the world fought and still are fighting the corona in a brave way, and I think we owe a lot for those people. We, as people, became enclosed. We are under lockdown. We are closed at home. We are less in contact right now. In Israel, this is opening a little bit more right now. We're going back to normal, but social distancing is still here. We don't see flights. We can't move much, but on the other hand, now we can really work from everywhere. So we do remote working, remote employment. We see remote education as well. And we, all of a sudden, also we don't dress much, as most of us go with sweatshirts and I don't know, because now we don't leave home and no one sees the lower part of our body. This is what we are now. We became a face picture everywhere. So maybe we do some less sport because we don't leave home, but we need to handle it. There is still a lot of unclarity. Financially, unemployment, and essentially the fear of what will be the day after and who will support us. So this is a big problem. A bit about numbers. So currently, according to today, we are nearing the 4 million people who got sick with corona, nearing 4 million. By the way, since I gave this lecture in Mexico last Thursday, I can tell you that within 1 week, entire population of sick people grew 700,000 people within 1 week throughout the world. So numbers are still big. We have also 45,000 people that are dead this week. All in all, 270,000 people died from this coronavirus. But there are also optimistic figures. The fact that now we have 10,000 less people with heart conditions, this is decreasing. We have much more people that are now well after corona, that came out of corona. By the way, all in all, around the world, we have 245 countries. Today, 212 of them are infected with corona. Also good news, were published in Israel 4 days ago that our scientists discovered the antibody that attacks the corona. It's not exactly a vaccine. It's an antibody that injected into the body and can fight the corona. Mm-hmm. So this is very good news, but it will still take time before it can be used on people. So just not optimistically saying that we will still be, at least until next year, probably without a vaccine, which is very worrying because we are now starting to speak about second wave. And second wave, very frightening, will maybe come on winter with the flu. Again, it's a prediction. By the way, to know that we are out of corona, we will have to go through 2 cycles, meaning 14 days, an additional 14 days, 28 days. If there are no sick people, no infected, we know probably corona is behind us, but this is still in the future. Currently, unemployment. So the work market. So we all work from home. This is the situation. In Israel now, we have opened almost everything right now, including schools, but only for the younger classes still, not the older ones. But we are already open for business in the last week. Kids are going to school, shops are open, malls are now open. We can do sport. So in Israel, things are going back to normal very quickly. But we also see that if before Corona we used to measure our work by hours, how many hours did you work today? Now this is changing. We want to see results. We want to see the outputs. Okay. Now we quantify how much we work, not by hours, but by result. So this is interesting. And we are also turning from the frontal, meeting one another, to the digital, where we now meet this way. Probably you feel it also, that no more people, less people now are calling you on the phone. They want to see you. So they go live. They want to see you Skype, they want to see you WhatsApp, they want to see you Zoom, doesn't matter what, but all of a sudden, meetings are now like this. Big problem is unemployment. Yes, over 1 million people in Israel are out of work right now, not because they were fired, it's because they were put at home. Same is worldwide. Unemployment is a big issue, big problem. And we know that at least 20% of people will not return. And the ones who will return probably will have to reduce their salaries in about, I would assume, 15% at least. So, and this is just because we had previous crises. We know how this works. So today, this is a market of the employers. They get to choose who to bring back and how much to pay. And this has an effect on all of us, meaning we need to act different. All those of us sitting at home, you need to put more emphasis on your contact with your employers. Don't say, I'm at home, there is Corona, I don't need to speak to anyone. No, you need to speak to your employer. You need to keep in touch. You need to ask. You need to show that you care, not to say that's not my problem and I have to deal with what I have to deal. You need to have yourself a kind of a routine. Get out of bed, practice, work, start your head, think about things. Don't be a potato couch. Get moving. About the contact between people, like personally. So, as I said, we have stopped talking on the phone. We like to see now much more. And this is how we see our family. And by the way, all of a sudden, people that you don't know, like some of maybe the people in the audience right now, which I don't know, are now welcomed into my home. They will hear my dog, they can see my family. So all of a sudden, we have opened ourselves. Our privacy has decreased now because we talk, okay? This is different. All of a sudden, we see our parents. They now know digital. They operate their smartphones. They operate Zooms. And I'm talking not maybe your parents, which may be my age. I'm talking older people like my parents who are 70 and above. For them, all of a sudden, technology is very close and they do everything right now. So Zoom is something that everyone uses. But this will also have an effect, meaning we have been trying to push digital into people's life for a long time. And it was for a certain amount of success. Now, it is for sure much more successful. We have forwarded light years in digital. We are much more advanced, and this will definitely be here to stay. I can tell you from experience is that people still dwell on today. They don't look at tomorrow. And this is what I want to convey to you. It is very important for us to look at tomorrow. On the family side, well, we are all at home. We are more together. Maybe some frictions from time to time, but we see the kids more. Maybe the mothers see them all the time. The fathers maybe don't see them that much. But now, as a family cell, we are much more together. We can, use it for quality time. I hope everyone does it. On the other part, we are now into screens, all the time into a screen. And maybe to see Netflix, or maybe to play Minecraft or Fortnite, I don't know. But we are now using much more screens. Now we shop by screen. But all of a sudden we learn that shopping is one thing, but really receiving what you bought is a different story. Yes, we can shop because there are digital online websites, but not sure you will receive the merchandise. Not sure you will receive it because we are not well equipped with what we call takeaway and drive the merchandise straight home. And yes, there are periods of times where there is not everything on the shelf. Now we have to do with less. Let's remember it. Let's go for the business part. I don't know how many of you are familiar with what is called black swan. Black swan is a term used in economy to describe an event that has a significant effect on economy, but was very hard to predict. Actually, was not predicted, very much like Corona. Corona is the classic event of black swan, where out of nowhere, no one predicted. Yes, you can say there were a few Hollywood movies about it, but nothing really sank into our heads. So we didn't do much, okay? This is something that now also economy is struggling with. So Corona first wave probably will end within, let's say, June, July. I don't know this for sure, of course. I'm guessing like everyone else. Everyone's guess is good. But probably within the coming months of summer, it will be much more reduced. We don't know what will happen in second wave. We see in other countries there is second wave. We need to take to account. Probably we will meet less. I'm saying we will meet less. For sure, I think that we will keep on shaking hands. It's because Corona was here for a short time. It didn't really change any patterns in our behavior. And, you know, people are, as we say, a social animal. We need people. We need to be in touch. We need to touch. We need to hug. We need to kiss. This is why, because Corona was here for 2-3 months, this will stay. But we will have to keep distance. You see already that in airplanes, we don't know exactly how that will work. And we need to adjust. This is the time for everyone to be more agile, more ready for change, not to keep themselves solid and say, I don't change. If you don't change, you will not survive this. You need to change, you need to be agile, you need to be more receptive, you need to learn, and you need to educate yourself how to behave. We see that planes are now flying much less, 60, 65, maybe even more percent less. We see the consumption of fuel in US has gone down, decreased for 50%. We see the oil, crude oil. I mean, Azerbaijan is very well known for oil. Is now down 20 million barrels down. You see the prices. Oil for a period of time was less than zero. This is not ordinary. Yeah, this is not ordinary. This has a huge effect on economies, but maybe one good thing is that pollution in Europe, air pollution, 60% less. So maybe something good came out of it. More animal, more nature is coming into our lives again, okay? Something that we need to remember. Now I will speak a bit about startups. So if you ask a startup, what has really changed for him during Corona? He will look at you and you say, listen, so my life as a startup is full of uncertainty. I'm keeping myself, occupied with survival. I'm surviving all the time, okay? So actually this is Corona. Corona is exactly the same. We have no certainty what will be tomorrow. We get different rumors of what will happen, and we are in a way, in effect, surviving. So for startups, nothing much really changed. Startups say to the world, welcome to our lives. Now the rest of the world see what we feel on a day-to-day. Yes, but of course there is effect on. So now it is harder to raise money. It is clear that it is now a time of uncertainty. So private investors will be less, meaning more reluctant, less easy to give the money. And probably if they give, they will give a smaller amount. Maybe will ask for more evidence that this is a good startup, meaning you have some customer, or at least you know how to handle yourself through this crisis. Sales are very difficult. It's because the rest of the world hung up their phones. No one is answering right now. It will change within weeks. It is changing right now. So some companies already are answering the phones. Let's remember, banking is operating, credit is operating, insurance, hospitals, of course, government, this is still operational. But people are still less receptive, meaning sales is very difficult. So a startup right now, these days, need to concentrate on marketing, needs to keep himself in the face of the potential investors and potential customers he will have in the future. Don't sit like this and say, I have nothing to do, there is Corona. No, Corona is here, but Corona is moving, and you need to adjust, and you need to push yourself, and you need to start picking up the phone, and you need to start publishing, and you need to go Facebook and LinkedIn and your website. This is the time for you to refresh, to get ready for the day after, okay? Okay. So now I will speak a bit about the day after, what I think will happen. So on the technological cluster, so we know right now the travel tech, airlines, flights, travel agencies, hotels, restaurants, parks, this all is going down. By the way, the travel tech industry in total assumes losses of $250 billion. These are the losses this industry will suffer. If you talk flights, they say it will take years, 2 to 5 years, to get ourselves out of the situation. I would assume that the internal tourism within every country, Israel, Azerbaijan, USA, will come back very quickly. Yes, there will be new rules in the hotel. Probably you will be answered by robots, maybe, not by people. Everything will be much more digital, okay? But it will reopen, but with certain restrictions. I would assume low-cost flights, forget about it. Low-cost need a big quantity of travelers and a lot of flights to be profitable. No more. We see now that they are thinking how to arrange the plane in order to get people. Maybe take the middle seat and turn it and put walls to the side to have some social distancing between travelers. And of course, there will be seat yes, seat no, one yes, one no. This has a very big effect if it will be even profitable to take off. So this is a big problem. Ryanair, if you know, is a European airline, just said that the usual flights of 2,500 flights a day was reduced to 20 flights a day. This cannot hold for long. So I would assume many bankruptcy, Chapter 11 to many airlines. By the way, Booking.com, I am sure that most of you use Booking.com, shows that they're down close to 90% already, down. So we see the barometer. It doesn't look good on that side, okay? Retail is problematic. We don't go to the shop, but we now shop much more from the online. So now going to what will go up. Cyber for sure will go up. It's because when we use everything digital, this is a big room for hackers to do whatever they want. So we know that cyber security will increase. There's a lot of need to address in the cybersecurity. Fintech for banks, of course. Education, remote education now, okay? A platform like Zoom, Skype, whatever, will now, of course, increase. But by the way, we also now know that the education system is not really ready to handle remote studying, remote education. It is still not ready. But this will now increase. There will be a lot of work towards this. Telemedicine will increase. We want to treat people from remote. We want to scan people from remote. We want to make sure if they're healthy or not. Everything will be done by remote. Virtual reality probably will also increase. Why? Is because when you're locked in your home, you want to go put this and go to a new reality. You want to see a soccer game. You put this on and you're all of a sudden in a different atmosphere, in a different world even. So virtual reality will grow. Ordering food. We can't go out. There's no restaurant. So we order the food right now. So a lot of application of takeaways now probably will grow. For sure, everything regarding medicine and medical and health system, all this will very much improve. Employment, I would say globalization will be checked again, looked at again. We see this global village also help for this virus to run between the countries. We need to see what we will do with that. Maybe less freelancers. People would like to be ordinary employees and don't want to be freelancers. Is because when you're a freelance, it is more unsecure, more uncertainty of what will happen tomorrow. Who will pay you for the days you didn't work? No one. Maybe your government. Hopefully the government. We don't know who will pay. So maybe people would like to be less independent, more go back to being employees. Maybe more employment places will like people to work from home because now we know we work from home much harder than we work from office. Because to get to office, we need to drive, to take the find the parking place, take the elevator, make coffee. That is gone. We are now available 24/7, stuck to the computer, and we work a lot. So probably employers will say, you know what, don't come back, which will have an effect on the size of the office. Maybe we don't need a big office. Maybe all the co-working spaces will now disappear. It's because we need to keep social distancing, so less people inside. Maybe not profitable. I see already co-working places get shut down. Okay, so this is happening. This is unfortunately, this is a big effect. I think that everything that has to do with taking merchandise from one place to another, we see now currently very blooming with drones that take from one place to another, with robots that now speak to people, again, because we cannot come currently into contact. So someone needs to do the job. I think that when it comes to people, I'm close to the end, a few minutes more. Speaking about people in general, I think that we will still keep in touch. I think we will still meet. It may be still doing elbowing, I don't know. I think we will go back to shaking hands for sure. People will maybe have to have a kind of a sign saying, I'm healthy, check me, I'm good. You can shake my hands. You see now people reaching out a hand and you feel uncomfortable with that. You say, no, let's do this. It's okay for now. I don't know if it will really hold because, again, it's our nature. Startups. Let me give you some numbers on what will happen with the startups, and I will say this is a bit gloomy situation. So a research company called Startup Genome made a research in the months of March and April. So they spoke to 1,000 startups from 6 continents, from 50 countries, and checked the situation. So regretfully, more than 40% of startups said they have like 3 months more of air, of food, of money, and they're out. So this is a big problem. We see that. We see many rounds raising funds are now reduced in 20% at least. We see already startups that had to close. There are a lot of startups who are not getting support from government, which is, of course, again, a difficult issue. I think this is where the country needs to put itself, as we say, under the stretcher and help carry. Otherwise, it will not last. More than 70% of startups told their employees, go home. Sorry, we cannot afford keeping you. But on the other hand, 25% said, yes, we are not in lockdown, but we are working as usual. And of course, the clusters of technology I've mentioned are working very, very hard. I can give you maybe a ray of light. Speaking about Israel, Israeli startups during these months of Corona raised over $900 million, close to $1 billion during Corona, raised funds. Add to the fact that the app called MoveIt was just acquired by Intel for $1 billion. And this is in Corona time. Interesting is the CEO of MoveIt says that the deal was signed by Zoom. They didn't even meet. Still, Intel acquired them for $1 billion. So I can tell you that if you are a successful person that is has a fighting soul, that is very agile, that understand that where there is hardship, there is also opportunity, this is your time to shine. If you have good technology, you will be interesting regardless, because there are always people that have money, always VCs that raised money before Corona, they have money, and companies looking because they know it will pass. This will go away. So, last recommendation to everyone listening, stay optimistic. Most of what you hear is rumors, but still you would need to listen, as I said from the beginning, to all the instructions given by the government in regards to health. But try new things. Dare to try new things that you have not tried before. On education, learn new things. Push yourself out, expose a bit. Pick up the phone. Look for a job. Don't wait for your employer to call you and say you're fired. Sorry, I can't bring you back. You know it might happen. Start looking for your next job. Have a strategy. Think what you're going to do. Give more time to deal with marketing of your business, of yourself as a person. Have a schedule. Wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, dress, do sport, eat good, and do work. Do work that will push you ahead and adjust. I would like to stop here and bring it back to you, Mr. Elchin. If there are any questions.
Yes, we have questions from users. Just a moment. One of our users, Mr. Troll, dear Mr. Tal Catran, considering the current condition, what rapid changes await the techno entrepreneurship and innovation management for next 2 years?
Changes for the technical management?
No, techno entrepreneurship and innovation management for next 2 years.
So I think I mentioned, if I'm answering the question the right way, I think I answered what are the tech clusters that I think will grow now following Corona. I will mention quickly again, it was ed tech. Learning from remote is now something that we all understand. We need to accelerate. We need to do much better. Telemedicine. In a let's say in a big bundle, I'm speaking about everything that can be done digital and remotely in regards to health and in regards to shopping and in regards to education will definitely now be accelerated with new technologies, with new way of adapting how to do. So what I want to say is the fact that you have Zoom doesn't really say that you know how to work from home. Zoom is a technology that we can speak through. As you saw, it didn't work even in the beginning or even now. Okay, we're using Skype. But what I want to say is that one thing is that we know there is a technology, and a whole different story is to know that we can actually know how to use it. So, again, I think it's listening and reading a lot on the internet and seeing what is needed and what is lacking. I think I mentioned those. And your ability is, again, to pivot. When you're a startup, you're small, you're agile, you need to relate to changes, meaning you can and you need to change very quickly. You cannot stay rugged, okay? And you need to educate yourself as well. Okay. Any more questions?
Yes. And other question, Mr. Sevinç, do you, Mr. Sevinç, give a question. Do you think that, what about traditional business, what to expect on their side?
That's I think the $1 million question. What will happen to what we knew until now? So if I speak traditional, so manufacturing, okay? Again, the problem, just understand what really changed when we say the new normal. We can count currently still less in contact. One problem is proximity, okay? So if you have a restaurant, now all of a sudden, if you could bring in 100 people, you can bring only 50. That's now new rules, okay? What can you do about it? But will the restaurant close? Maybe the restaurant now will do more takeaway. When you say takeaway, do you have an app that you can use? Do you have the people that will take their motorcycle or car and bring it over? Or maybe you have a drone that can do that in 3 minutes. This is what we are trying right now in US as well. Again, it's because when a person brings you food home, he still carries your food and he comes to your door. And again, there is problem with proximity. So he will have to have a mask. You will need to have a mask. So you want to pay him. Do you have a payment app? Can you pay by, probably you have one, I don't know the name, but probably you can pay by app, okay? And not by cash or not by credit. So This is just a simple situation to say that traditional industry, traditional businesses as we knew them, again will change it. For instance, your barber. You know, last time I was in Baku was January. Okay, I went to a barber. Okay, and well, I could go in. I did not have to make a schedule with him. Okay, to fix myself my time to go in. Now it's different. Why? Now he cannot bring everyone into the shop. Now you have a line outside. Probably, I don't know, in other places. This is how it is here. Now the barber said, yes, but how can I schedule a meeting? How do I do it? I don't have an app for that. I can tell my customers, this is my app. Go and fix yourself your own schedule and come and see me. All of a sudden, this is a big opportunity for startup to come up with such a solution. This is what I'm speaking about. Think very simple about what you used to do before Corona, understand the implications, and try and act accordingly, meaning try to invent something that will give it a solution. This is what you need to do now. Now, I think if I can propose, okay, Mr. Elchin, since you have brought me, and as many people in the audience know me, I think that we should take this opportunity and have ourselves some webinars. When we do some brainstorming, I can take you through a scenario. You will say how this scenario is implemented in Azerbaijan, for instance, okay? And then we can maybe signal some opportunities, and maybe we can offer them back to the industry, meaning offering back to the startup ecosystem, and tell them, hey guys, this is an open opportunity. Maybe someone will take it and develop a solution. For instance, your farmers in the remote regions of Azerbaijan, so they grow cucumbers and tomatoes. Up until now, they can travel and bring their merchandise. Now, things have changed. First of all, they are under lockdown. They cannot go anywhere they want. So how will the tomato reach my home? Up until now, you used to go for supermarket, but supermarket is now closed. Maybe you can get in contact directly with the farmer. Maybe there is no need for the supermarket to be in the middle. Maybe the farmer can take his car twice a week and drive to the main city and deliver. But there is no app for this. There is no communication between you and the farmer 4 hours away from you. This is the opportunity I talk about. Please.
Okay.
I hope I answered, Sevinç. Sevinç Hanım. I hope I answered.
Sevinç Hanım. Just a moment. What, Mr. Tal, give a question again. What about military and defense startups?
I think that I cannot even think about a situation, an event, a crisis that will put out of work anyone in the defense industry, of course, when it comes to startups. But again, I think that also Army is doing currently some changes. First of all, we see that the Army is now part of the fighting the corona. It's not just the police. It's not just the health authorities. Also, Army is involved, okay? We see right now, I don't know if you have this, but we have released an app that is used by people to know if they have been in the proximity, meaning close to a person who is already tested for corona. So for some reason, this person is out in the street. He was already tested. He has corona, okay? But he did not stay at home. Might be that you have passed next to him. So there are still debates. Does corona move in the air or not? Can you get affected or not? The answer currently is probably yes. Let's assume. But you will never know. We now operate, and by the way, the rest of the world is now also developing such applications. This application was developed for our health ministry. And now you can know if you've been in the proximity. It doesn't report you. It doesn't tell you what you do. It just tells you you have been in the proximity. You need to know that you go home and be under lockdown. But the military, without going into too much details, say, because there are people who don't listen to the instructions, we now want to follow them. So if you are infected with corona and you have a mobile phone, I know exactly where you are. And if you are told to stay at home and you're not at home, I will know. Some authority will know where you are. Some secret service will know. So I'm saying just this as an example. Drones is another example. So I would say definitely that military defense will forever be needed. Those startups don't really get into much effect. And also because that the army has huge budgets that were not affected by corona. Very different maybe than other, let's say, offices or ministries in the government or in the country. So that's my answer.
Thank you very much for your answer, Mr. Tal. And I also added some my points about this exit strategy. When I searched it in Google, I have some statistical information. I found it some interactive, but mainly they do your due diligence and remain focused and flexible. Understand your target buyer and build momentum. And what I mean when you are in the and strengthen your network. According to the university, according to the one of the University of Europe, the around 20% of new businesses fail within their first year, and 30% of small businesses fall in their second year, and 50% of this business fall in the first 5 years. And what will happen in coronavirus period, Mr. Tal, and how to alive this situation?
So definitely, it is clear that the suffering businesses are the small, also the medium, but for sure the small businesses everywhere in the world. Why? Because a small business, in most cases, in more than 87%, is family-owned. It's a small business. It's a person. Him and his son, him and his daughter, his wife and him. It's like this. So when they have to stay under lockdown, their business is shut. And when there is no help coming, and the only help they can get is from government, when that is not in place, it is very hard, or even the chances of them surviving is close to zero, if not zero. But we see government all over the world understanding that every country still relies a lot on the freelancers, on the private businesses, on the small and medium. For sure, no country can do without them. They have a huge effect on the economy. This is why I have no doubt that those businesses will get support from government. I don't know to how extent, yes, but we see that President Trump signed $2 trillion to give to the economy. I don't know how it gets there, but he signed it. So are other countries. It's like, in a way, the only way is to, as we say, pour, like water, pour money on the economy to survive. I'm saying that alone will not do the work. The fact that people will get back to their pockets the money, or at least some of the money they lost, this will not guarantee anything. I'm saying that 20, maybe 30% of small businesses will close, will go bankrupt, and again, it's not just because of the money. It's not just because they don't get the support. It's because even when you get the support, Corona is still here, and you need to adjust, and you need to understand that even if you get the money, still you maybe cannot open your business, or you need to open your businesses in a different way, and you need to have a takeaway service because you cannot open half of your restaurant, and you need to do something else with the prices as well. Again, it's a domino effect. It's not like on one person or one cluster of industry to decide things. It has an effect. This is the time for all the businesses, for all the consultants maybe that are listening right now or will listen to this. Consultant, business consultant, financial, marketing, business development. This is your time. You need to step up and you need to bring your experience and I think one of the ways to solve it is to have much more forums like this where people can speak. First of all, to share their hysteria, to share their hardship right now, to share how confused they are. And on the other hand, on the other side, here professional consultants helping them to come up. So if you ask me, part of the money from the government needs to go for those consultants, needs to go to places maybe like, I don't know, a small medium businesses agency, okay, that gives, like Kobia, that gives the service to all the small and medium businesses, and they need now to make themselves available with an army of consultants that are able to help, not just to, as we say, get the money to the business, but also how to adjust to the situation, how to market differently, where to put the money more, how to save on the money. This is a national plan. This is not a whim of someone, but I think that no need to wait, no need for someone to tell you what to do. Businesses need to act on themselves. By the way, consultants, I put myself as a consultant as well to help, but I think it needs to be in a plan. And I'm again always free and always looking for cooperation to have at least the conversation, to come up with the solutions even, okay? And I think that the technological ecosystem, meaning the startups mainly, as well as IT companies, need to help on their side to quickly develop digital solutions. Everyone needs to work in order, but quicker. Need to move quicker. This is what I think.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Tal. Just a moment. I'm looking for our reviews. We haven't any questions, but
okay.
The hours format is the end of the. I have a Mr. Tal. Can you give your advice? Please the advice at the end for us. We're waiting your advice for us.
So I will give my advice. First of all, stay amazing, stay beautiful, stay responsive. Keep on, be welcoming. This is who you are as people. Don't dwell. Don't look in the inside and say, oh, it's black, it's hard, I'm alone, I'm losing money, I'm stuck at home, I can't see my parents, I can't go to my because some of you still do. Please don't do unless it's allowed. If it's not allowed, please don't do. You need to be optimistic. And I think one of the ways to be optimistic is, as always, as I say to startups, to have a startup on a one person is very difficult because startup life is very difficult, and when you are by yourself with no one to pick you up, when you feel down, no one to cheer you up, it's almost near impossible. So this is why I think if you can stay welcoming and even if you can only talk through the computer or through your phone, do that much more. Get yourself into an agenda that you keep yourself. Have it even printed in front of your face. Don't wake at noon because you can. Don't wake at noon because you can. Leave it for the weekend. Rest of the week. Wake up on time. Do your things. Do your sport. Don't neglect the sport. speak to people, have people on the phone, have meetings in your calendar. Know that you need to do things and enjoy the fact that now maybe you have more time to think things over. Invest in yourself, invest in your LinkedIn, invest in your website, invest in your CV. Get your CV ready, Call your business, speak to your manager. What's up? How are you? I know it's difficult. Can we do something? Call your clients, call your customer. Say to your customer, listen, I'm in the same problem like you. I understand you completely, but let's talk. Maybe we will figure something out. Maybe we can start working together back again. If this will not come from you, it will not fall to your lap. It will not happen by miracle. Be proactive. Move. Imagine, be creative. Be receptive. Be agile. This corona is not here to stay for long, but it is still here, and the ones that wait for it to pass and then they will not survive it. Will not survive it. Take the time to learn new things, new skills. The book that you always wanted to read it now. But also be productive. It's not about vacation right now. This is not vacation. This is a working situation now looking different. You used to work in a certain way, now you work a certain way. Reduce your expenses. Don't spend much money. And there may be some people in the audience that know what I'm speaking about. Don't spend money. Right now is to live on a budget and adapt. I'm here to help. People in Azerbaijan know me very well. And really, I'm very much looking forward for any airline to open their lines and I can come back to Azerbaijan,
Inshallah.
to Baku. Inshallah. And see you, everyone. Mr. Elchin, really, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I really feel a bit bad from the beginning, and maybe we will do this hopefully soon again. There is a lot to share, and I want to really, first of all, to tell you that I was very impressed with your initiative, and you have done everything in light speed. This is a good example of how things need to be done. From when we decided until here, it was about a week and maybe a day, and we are here on the air. With the problems or not, I think still people will come in and see it. So personally, I want to thank you a lot. I want to say best regards and good health and wellness to all my friends in Azerbaijan. Some of you are, of course, in touch all the time on the WhatsApp or on mail. Let's keep it this way. And again, as we say, inshallah, we will meet soon again. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your valuable words and your advices for us. Inshallah, we will meet again to other subject in Baku, in Azerbaijan. We will meet and we will do together many projects. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are
welcome.
Shalom.
Bye.
Salam.